Hi, my name's Phil Gardner and welcome to Fun with Boxes. Well, no actual box today, but instead a look at a magazine that focuses on amazing games that do come in boxes. Today I'm taking a look at RBM Studios' C3i Magazine, a magazine that focuses on the war game side of the board game hobby. C3i Magazine was founded in 1992 by Roger B. McGowan, covering the wargaming hobby with a focus on the graphic design from RBM Studio. Roger is a prolific graphic artist, contributing his artwork to hundreds of games back since the 1970s. C3i has supported new and upcoming releases from the wonderful GMT games, and has also featured interviews with major designers and gamers within the hobby. It has also served as a chronicle of the history and the contributions of other game companies like Avalon Hill, SPI, Game Designers Workshop, Victory Games, just to name a few. C3i has also been a forum for discussing how board games are designed and developed, and showcased numerous insights into how to play and think about war games, as well as explain the historical backgrounds of the games. Typically released on an annual basis, each print issue of C3i is filled with articles on the hobby. Not only that, but included within each issue is a series of inserts that serve as expansions for existing board game products. Plus, and this really is a big deal in my opinion, C3i Magazine includes a whole standalone board game for you to play with a friend, or solo games for you to tackle on your own. Each issue is printed in full colour, covering topics ranging from ancient history to modern warfare and beyond. In short, over the many years, these magazines have been an absolute treasure trove for board game fans across the world, and I for one have been enjoying them for well over 12 years now. Well, that was some information about C3i Magazine in general. Let's take a Fun with Boxes look at issue number 35. This is the 2021 issue of the magazine. As you can see, the magazine comes inside a Ziploc bag so that all the goodies inside are kept nice and safe and none fall out before the magazine lands in your waiting arms. Or rather, I guess, hands, that is. And it's not just a great magazine that you're getting. Each issue features the following. There's the magazine, but this particular issue being 68 pages long, the full board game, and in this issue it's Mark Herman's Burma, The Forgotten War, 1943 to 1944. And finally, the inserts. In this issue there are a number of inserts, and not just inserts, but an actual solo board game included too. So as you can see from this brief look at what comes within each magazine, you get a ton of stuff that will keep you occupied until next year's issue arrives. They really are fantastic value for your money. Every year I cannot wait until the new issue is printed and released. So let's take a closer look at what issue 35 has to offer. First, the magazine. This is an absolute joy. You can feel the quality throughout, from the thick covers through to the lovely pages within. And the quality does not stop with the physical feel of the magazine. Oh no, that's just the start. Because inside you will find the amazing articles that make this magazine what it is. Here is a table of contents for you to see what's inside. We start off with a note from Roger and Steve, our wonderful editors. Then we have the fourth of the propaganda round articles by the superbly talented Volko Hrunik. This one entitled Simulating Levels of Warfare. These are really interesting and in-depth from a gentleman who brought the world the Coin series of games. And indeed the first two articles were all about the coin game designs themselves. As I say, these articles really go into great detail about wargame design and are all illustrated with tables and charts. Next we have Moonshine in Atlantic Chase by Jeremy White, an article about the fog of war and his game Atlantic Chase. Then the 12th of Mark Herman's Silo's Corner articles about the sequence of play, followed by an interview with game designer Vanks von Borries, and then an article about German and Russian strategy in Kursk in 1943 by Trevor Bender, about the game that came with issue 34 of the magazine. Next we have an article about Compass Games' Red Eclipse by Stephen Overton, this being the first game in a new Contact Now series. This is followed by an article on what is game development by Jason Carr, then rather sadly a tribute to the wonderful John Hill and Chad Jensen, who brought us game-changing games like Squad Leader and Combat Commander. And then another article by Trevor Bender about ethics in gaming. Next we have two articles, That's Not a War Game by Harold Buchan and What is a War Game by Volko Runik, followed by Non-Linear Games for a Non-Linear World by Ricardo Mason. Then we have by Darren Levloff about the Worthington game deluxe edition release of his game Soviet Dawn. Then we have two brand new scenarios from Mike Nigel for his game Flying Colours. Next, an interview with Dan Forney, known for his historical articles. Then an article by Andy Nuez, Through a Cracked Lens, which looks back at Fire and Movement magazine, and that's followed by another article about this by Warren Williams. And finally, a variant for Normandy 44 by Rob Bottom called Stopping the Panzers. Phew! As you can see, this magazine is absolutely rammed full of interesting articles, interviews, plus additional content for existing games. But the C3i train does not stop there. On it goes. And the next thing inside this magazine is huge. A full board game designed by the prolific wargame designer Mark Herman, called Burma, The Forgotten War, 1943 to 1944. And this is a two-player scenario game based on its parent game, Empire of the Sun. You get the 36-page rulebook, 48 playing cards, the detailed player map, and finally the counters needed to play the game. A little tip here, after carefully punching out the playing cards, I have popped them into some premium sleeves to protect and also thicken their feel. So that's Burma, The Forgotten War, 1943 to 1944, worth getting a magazine just for this. And now on to the inserts that are included with the magazine. First we have a new scenario for Labyrinth by Trevor Bender, printed on thick cardstock. Then a battle module for SPQR called Lake Transmine, which is a 12-page booklet plus a giant play map. And then, rather amazingly, another full board game, this time a solo war game called Roman Disaster at Teutoburg by Pascal Tupi, which is printed on thick cardstock, both the rules and the map for the game, plus the required game counters. And lastly, we have the sheet of counters themselves. You get the counters for the games included in the magazine, that's both Burma and Teutoburg. You get the counters for the two Flying Colours scenarios, and the counters for the SPQR battle module, and then various other counters. Well, I'm sure you will agree that's one heck of a magazine and more than worth the cost of entry, as they say. I'd highly recommend picking this issue up, or in fact any issue of C3i Magazine. Regardless, you will be in for a treat. I'll pop a link in the comments section below for anyone interested in picking a copy up direct from RBM Studios, and a link to their website for more information on C3i Magazine and any of the other products they have available. Just for you to be aware, Roger recently very kindly sent me a copy of this issue, but I've been an avid reader for many years, so whilst I'm obviously super pleased to have this, I'm already a huge fan, so no bias here. Well, there you have it, C3i Magazine. Go grab a copy today. In the next few episodes, I hope to be taking a look at the latest issue of C3i Magazine, that's issue 36. So if you enjoyed this episode, please like and subscribe, and you'll be able to keep an eye out for that episode. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and please take care.